And time is ticking for Congress to pass kids' online safety legislation before the end of the year. But the differing bills between the Senate and the House are complicating a path forward. This comes at a crucial time as June is Internet Safety Month, focusing on protecting kids from inappropriate content online.
Joining us now is the president and CEO of Enough is Enough, Donna Hughes, and CEO of Center for Countering Digital Hate, Imran Ahmed. But thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. So, Imran, unlike other countries like Australia, the UK, Turkey, Indonesia, they've passed bans on kids under the age of 16 or 15 from being able to use platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Why do you think we're seeing such a delay on legislation like that here in the United States, where most of these platforms are based?
Well, look, we've had a blocker at a federal level for some years now in Washington, where I live. And even those individual states, Texas, Florida, have actually enacted bans on kids using cell phones in schools, against social media and access to X-rated material online. At a federal level, we've had this real blocker, and in particular, the Kids Online Safety Act, which, let's not forget, had bipartisan support. It left the Senate 91-3. We still can't get that through the House, and we can't get that to the president's desk, where it needs to be signed as soon as possible to protect American children.
You know, Donna, to that point, you had a recent opinion piece in Town Hall where you compared big tech to big tobacco. You look at what's happening with our kids. There's already been rules on the books that say if you're under the age of 12, 11, you shouldn't even be on these platforms. I've got a 10-year-old stepdaughter, so I know that is not the case. We're constantly deleting apps and changing parental controls. And so why is this the case? Why is it that companies like Roblox seem to be harder on the people cracking down on the weirdos trying to get at our kids than they are with the people who are actually doing the bad deeds?
Well, you're right. Big tech is the big tobacco. These companies are making billions of dollars, advertising dollars, off of minor age children on their platform. So there's a huge big tech lobby, if you will. And you're right. There is a privacy law called COPPA, which actually is supposed to prevent kids under the age of 13 from being on the platforms. However, there's no age verification in place. So an 8-year-old child can say that they're 15 and they can get on these platforms. So as you just heard, for instance, Florida has an age gating ban, which is very effective. It's under 15 years old. At the federal level, again, there's a big tech lobby. And so it's very difficult. I don't think we're going to see the kinds of age gating bans, if you will, like we've seen in the UK and Australia and India and others, because we can't even get the Kids Online Safety Act passed. And that simply requires a duty of care for these companies to put the safety of kids over the profits of their companies. And like I said, they're making billions of dollars. But kids are also no match for the multi-billion-dollar criminal enterprises like the trafficking industry, child pornography, sextortion. So kids are vulnerable, period. Even if we get great laws passed, kids are still vulnerable if they have an internet-connected device.
You know, they really are. And this is something that the majority of parents want to see, right? They want more regulation over their children on social media. They want lawmakers to intervene. There was a recent study that said 83% of adults say that they think that the government should require tech companies to prevent child abuse on their platform. So why is it that we're still seeing these companies really not being held up to this standard? They're not really facing too high of repercussions for not prioritizing children and keeping them safe, Imran.
Well, there's a simple reason. We're the ones who pay. They never have to. And look, in 1996, Congress passed something called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which said that social media platforms cannot ever be held negligent for a failure to make sure that the wrong kinds of content don't get to our kids. And in fact, they can't be held liable for negligence on pretty much anything. So whether that's frauds and scams that target seniors, or it's the kind of content that makes our kids think that it's normal to cut themselves. And believe me, that sounds awful and extreme, but we've done studies showing that if you open an account on TikTok, within 2.6 minutes, as a 13-year-old girl, within 2.6 minutes, you're getting content about self-harm. Within 8 minutes, about eating disorders. Every 39 seconds on average in the first half hour, our researchers found that kind of content that might make a kid think that it was normal to starve themselves or kill themselves. And we've actually found it's getting worse with AI. We've just finished a study recently showing that ChatGPT is willing to help a 13-year-old child plan their own suicide. It will write letters for them to send to their friends and family. Now, when you've got these platforms that are making enormous amounts of profit, and that's what's crucial, this isn't about free speech, this is about profits, that these companies need to be held liable, because in the end, Europe tends to regulate. In America, we tend to litigate. And having the ability to sue these people and to hold them accountable in the courts to make sure there's an impact on the bottom line, that's how we're going to get safer social media and safer AI platforms too.
Donna, to that point, right, we had the CEO of a company on last week talking about trying to block access to many of these sites at the network level, sexually explicit materials. We know for a fact that the rate of usage for these pornographic websites goes up tremendously in the hours when children are not in school, sometimes even when they're in school. So before we go here, what do you believe can be done by parents today, with Congress refusing to act or being quite slow to act, to ensure children are kept safe?
Well, I think parents just need to realize that where their kids are playing, predators are preying. That's not just big tech, but all of the predators that are actively looking to harm your children. Also, that no child is immune. So if every parent can understand that even their good, smart child is not immune to any of these dangers online, and they need to take the first line of defense. And enough is enough. That's a big part of what we do, is educating parents to understand what the dangers are and how to keep their kids safe, because we want to prevent these dangers. We don't want kids to die. Kids are dying. Kids are being irreparably harmed. And so parents, I implore you, get on top of what your kids are doing online. Delay tech as much as you can. Limit screen time. There's lots of tools that you can use. Turn on filters on every internet-enabled platform, gaming platform, device that your kids are using. Use the monitoring features, and also time limits. These are very, very important tools that can help you, and have regular conversations with your child. Be their safe person so that they can come to you with absolutely anything, and that you're not going to freak out, and you're not going to shame them, and you're not going to take their tech away, but you're going to do your best to protect them from the online dangers so that they can enjoy a safe experience.
Donna Rice Hughes, Imran Ahmed, unfortunately, we have to leave it there, but great tips for parents.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, Democrats diving deeper